Hey guys, welcome back. It's Rowena.
It's Felicia.
We know how much you guys love learning about skincare habits, especially the ones we could be doing wrong or should be avoiding. So today, we've teamed up with the beauties at Wishtrend again to give you all the secrets to keeping youthful skin.
And this is actually a really important topic because if you think about it, no matter what age we are, we all want the secret to creating and keeping that eternal looking youth, right?
Aging is a natural part of life, and it's not a bad thing because as we get older, we actually get more comfortable in our skin and you learn how to embrace a lot of the things that we spent most of our youth and most of our life being insecure about, which is tiring, right?
And no matter what age we are, we can all look for ways to better improve our skincare, our beauty habits, and our lifestyle so that instead of curing the symptoms that have happened, we're actually preventing them from happening in the first place, from the inside and the out. So today we're going to be doing another video all about what not to do, especially if you want to achieve long-lasting, healthy, glowy skin.
Then the girls at Wishtrend will be sharing the steps that you should be focusing on.
And a lot of the steps we mentioned could be habits that you're actually not aware of that you're doing. So make sure you watch till the very end. And now let's find out a little more about our skin life cycle and understand what actually happens to our skin from going to bouncy and youthful to gradually start showing signs of age.
Skin life cycle. When it comes to our skin and body, it all boils down to the combination of environment, mental state, and products. This is the trifecta, if you will.
And depending on what age you are, the amount of control and the care you've put in over the years will determine how well you actually look. So quick overview.
In our teens, our skin renewal, collagen levels, even hydration levels are at its peak, and it's almost without effort because the body just readily creates everything it needs so you can bounce back from damages much quicker because new skin is being pushed to the surface quicker.
Then in our 20s, where we are right now, the accumulated toll of constant UV damage, if you are, can start to show, and things like free radicals can also start to attach to the structure of the skin, and cell renewal turnover rates start to very slowly slow down year by year, which means new skin isn't being pushed out as fast as when we were in our teens and we were indestructible.
And in our 30s, some say this is the best years because this is where you really start to know yourself. But in terms of skincare, if you haven't taken the measures in your teens and 20s, the collagen and elastin continue to slow, which could mean that it results in the first real wrinkles. We're not talking smile lines, people. And because of the decreased cell renewal and slower turnover rate of the skin, it can lead to duller complexions and uneven skin tones or hyperpigmentation.
It just means that this is where we can incorporate more active ingredients into our skincare routine to fill in and assist what's kind of depreciating. So then in our 40s, this slow continuation of collagen reduction keeps going, meaning the skin is thinner, the barrier lipids aren't as pronounced, and so dehydration can be a real issue. And this is why as we age, our skin also becomes drier, even if we were oily to begin with.
Then for 50s and older, the protective barrier lipid layer continues to thin and lessen, leading to moisture loss and showing more signs of wrinkling, fine lines, and pigmentation.
Now, knowing all this, it isn't to say as we age, we're doomed, because knowing this, now we can prevent certain things from happening on our skin and still look like we're 20, even if we're in our 40s or 50s. And we've seen people like this.
And on the flip side, if you don't know preventative steps or correct some lifestyle and skincare habits, it could make a 20-year-old look like they have a 40-year-old's face.
Okay, so here are the don'ts. First, don't be rough on your skin. This might sound like an obvious one, but actually the way we interact with our skin and the way we touch it or pull it or pat it and even sleep on it will make a huge difference because gravity is already upon us and ever so slowly dragging down our skin, so let's not speed that up.
It's easy to tug down on your face when you're removing makeup, especially around the eye area, and this area is the most delicate, so it's actually very easy to create premature fine lines by repeatedly and harshly touching it all the time.
and this eye area is almost a quarter of the thickness compared to any other part of our bodies. So just keep that in mind. It's like a delicate flower petal that needs to be nurtured. And my mom always used to tell me to never stretch this part of my face when I was removing makeup. So it's kind of been like ingrained in my life, and I can't touch it without like being anxious.
So this is why if you're using stubborn waterproof makeup, we should be gently taking a cotton pad, using micellar water or cleansing oil to hold over the eyes for about 10 seconds, then gently use circular upward and outward motions to remove makeup.
Or if you don't like using cotton pads, just using the warmth of your fingers and cleansing oil to let it warm and really break down that waterproof makeup or product, and then once again start circling over the eye area, and it will start to disintegrate much easier.
And this applies to the entire face too. Whether you're removing and applying products, it should be in an upward and outward motion. You can also use gentle circular or patting motions to apply products, and use firm but not dragging movements.
So this also has a really natural connection with lymph nodes and lymphatic drainage. So because we have lymph nodes here on the edge of our face, but also like pressure points around the eye, along the chin, down our neck, in the clavicle, and this is how all the fluids and toxins circulate throughout the face and get drained down. So actually by you circling around in these, starting from the middle, pushing it outwards and down, this actually also helps with that natural circulation and also this slight upward lifting motion, which will help you in the long run.
So just keep that in mind. You might not think it makes a huge difference, but if you do the same motion every day, that's actually a big difference that can be made.
Don't sleep in bad positions. So every morning we either wake up and you either look like a pufferfish or you have some random crease lines all over the face.
Like my bracelet is just on my face.
Yeah, or like pillow kind of creases. Well, this one has to do with the position that we sleep and the pillows we're using.
With skin aging and sun damage, skin doesn't have the same elastic properties, so when it's squished into one position, over time it can start to cause lines.
And so fighting wrinkles was what actually gave rise to this whole silk pillowcase situation.
There's actually no hard evidence that silk actually prevents wrinkles. It might just be making you look a little fancier while getting that beauty sleep, but what we've both been trying is this pillow that actually has the grooves to support how you sleep and allow your face to have room.
And I personally was hesitant about this before going in. I was like, what kind of a pillow is this? Thinking it would be hard, like some Flintstones pillow on a rock with like a hole. But actually it's so soft and plush. So it has the grooves on the two sides so you can sleep on the side, which is where I normally do.
And it the groove just cups your face like this.
It hollows out and you have like breathing room. And it's just actually amazing. And then on the neck, if you're like a lying down sleeper, like I'm like, it has like the neck support.
The neck support and like a little groove for your head.
Yeah. So it's actually really surprisingly softer than I thought. And that was a huge surprise. So if you guys are on the hunt for a new pillow, and you're into all this like pressure stuff, I highly recommend you check that out.
So getting back to it, it's actually our sleeping position and sleeping patterns that's much more important.
So what you want to do is sleep with your head propped up so that the fluids run downwards in the body, and this will help you from waking up with a face 2 times its normal size, because when our bodies are completely flat, if you think about it like a container, the fluids lie flat. And then when we stand up, it circulates again and drains normally, which is why throughout the day our face will tend to like deflate back to normal.
And in terms of sleep, it's super important to keep our circadian rhythm smooth so that our body can restore and repair itself at specific times of the day. Then if this is satisfied, you won't need specific products anyway, because your skin is nice, you're sleeping well, you're not stressed.
Yeah. Don't underhydrate and moisturize. So we've talked about hydration and moisturizing endlessly here on this channel, but we'll keep mentioning it because you've got to feed your skin and feed your organ from the inside and out, meaning the foods that we eat will naturally nourish our skin to some extent, but also the skincare we use will feed other areas just the same.
Hydration refers to the water content in your skin cells, because think about it. You hydrate yourself with water, you don't moisturize yourself with water, right? That's just Kind of awkward.
Yeah, so hydration is water, which means toners, hyaluronic acid, serums, even some moisturizers. These are all water-based products, which means it will help hydrate your skin cells and make them plump.
When they're plump, it means your skin will literally feel bouncy, soft, and like a cushion. If you don't hydrate and moisturize, the plump skin will dry up, and just imagine they almost deflate, and so this is where things like fine lines, cracked skin, and inflammation happens because there's no healthy, strong shield to protect the deeper layers of skin.
So moisturizers are definitely important in the steps of hydrating and offering that top layer moisturization, which acts as an occlusive and emollient because moisturizers have higher content of oils, but of course it's still a humectant, which is hydration because it still has water, but just not as much as toners and serums.
Don't think anti-aging products will solve all of your problems. And once you look into it, you'll find that it just boils down to the ingredients.
So don't think that just because it's labeled as anti-aging, it's going to change your life. So here's what you should know.
Our skin slows down the production of collagen, elastin, and overall sebum production for natural hydration as we age.
Which means that it's less firm and bouncy to the touch, and this also goes down quickly with too much sun exposure. So what a lot of anti-aging products do is load up on what our skin is actually lacking, including
skin replenishing ingredients like ceramides, hyaluronic acid, and omega fatty acids. They benefit skin by restoring the skin barrier by giving and locking in natural oils and hydration that typically lie there. So then the result is softer, smoother, plumper looking skin.
There's also skin restoring ingredients like retinol, niacinamide, and peptides, and these ingredients help talk with the skin, especially in the dermis layer where collagen and elastin is formed. And in a way, this lets the skin restore itself the way it did when it was younger, like in our teens, at a much faster rate. But just know how much you use for each, and the application of each ingredient varies, and we've done specific videos for each of these, so check them out if you want to know.
Antioxidants. Antioxidants are truly the creme de la creme of ingredients when it comes to defending against environmental stressors like pollution and free radicals in the air that damage our skin and our skin surface, making it weaker and look worn and aged. These include vitamin A, B, C, and E, green tea, CoQ10.
And antioxidants can be used by any age group in any skincare product. But here's the thing, it's not just anti-aging products that have these ingredients, because almost any product you probably have already contains these ingredients. You just have to look.
If you're already using these in your skincare routine, then you're already preventing aging skin.
Yeah, because anti-aging is often just a label that makes it easier for people who don't know what they're looking for. And so when they see it on the shelf and it's a higher price point, they're like, all right, cool, I trust it. But you know, at the end of the day, just look for active ingredients, antioxidants, AHAs, hydrating properties, and that's all there really is to it.
Next, don't forget sunscreen. Sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen. Sunscreen is the #1 most effective and powerful skincare product you can own to protect the collagen and elastin in your skin, as well as fight aging, because what is aging? It's when we lose collagen, right? Instead of our skin being firm and bouncy, it becomes flat and wrinkly. That's collagen.
And when you wear sunscreen, you're literally creating a shield to block that from being harmed. And secondly, you're fighting hyperpigmentation, which includes freckles. And if you have acne marks and scars, these can be worsened by the sun, and it will appear darker if you're exposed without sunscreen. So it will take longer for it to fade away as you age. And because this all has to do with the amount of melanin we produce in our skin. And melanin is the way the body protects itself from the sun. So it will produce more when there's more sun exposure. It just accumulates, it just builds up.
So do you want that?
No.
We actually just did an entire video about sunscreens where we saw the amount of sun damage we had at an event with La Roche-Posay, and in that video we talk all about the difference between the two types of sunscreens, which is chemical and mineral, and how they're different, so make sure to check that video out.
If you want even more skin protection, apply a vitamin C product to your face under the sunscreen, and because it works together to fight free radicals and environmental pollutants and fights premature wrinkling. And when you use vitamin C, you can also pair it with vitamin E, because these are like two best friends and they link arms and skip merrily on their way during the day. Ding, 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 ding. Don't consume lots of refined sugars. Here's the bittersweet truth about sugar. and our skin. They're just not friends and probably never will be.
As we said before, naturally our collagen and elastin production will slow down over time. What sugar does, if we consume too much in our diets, it actually speeds up the process. So essentially, you're eating away at your youth by eating too many sugary drinks and foods.
Yeah, and how, you ask? So typically high glycemic foods, high GI, which are foods high in sugar and simple carbohydrates like white bread. This sets off like a domino effect, which causes our blood sugar and insulin levels to spike. And this just means that the amount of sugar that enters our bloodstream surges, which causes inflammation throughout the body.
Fun! And when this happens, there are little receptors in our sebaceous glands that get activated, and it sends a signal to produce more sebum in the pores. By now, we know that when there's more sebum in the pores, this translates to a higher chance of that to break out and pimples can form, because if there's dead skin or bacteria on the surface, that's the perfect cocktail to produce acne-related problems.
Yeah. We've gone through this so many times. So this is why some people can also develop adult acne later in their life, even if they have never faced any of these problems before. And so a diet that's too high in refined sugars can affect your skin at any point. Of course, not everyone will be affected by foods the same, which is why, like, you know, you're different to what my diet and how my diet affects you. It's all different. But when it comes to sugars, I think there's a collective agreement that in general, we should try to cut out as much as possible out of our diet. So just try it, guys. Healthy alternatives, we did a video on this.
Don't overindulge in drinking alcohol and smoking. We definitely don't want to sound like mothers here, but both will significantly age your skin prematurely and give the color and tone of your skin an unhealthy color.
Yeah. So alcohol is a diuretic, which means it dehydrates the skin and the body. And not only that, but alcohol is often very high in sugar. And we've already mentioned how sugar affects our skin, right? So if you don't want to be dehydrated and have breakouts, it's best not to consume alcohol for the sake of, you know, that youthful glowing skin that we all strive to achieve.
So with smoking is probably one of the most visibly harmful habits when it comes to our skin.
Cigarette smoke contains carbon monoxide, which displaces the oxygen that's actually in our skin. And not only that, but it actually causes the narrowing of blood vessels, also known as vasoconstriction, which limits the oxygen-rich blood flow to the face and also the body, and especially in the dermis layer of our skin, which is what keeps us youthful and plump.
There's also nicotine, which further reduces blood flow, leaving skin dry and discolored, which is why you might see the skin looking sallow or grayish if you smoke or know of a smoker.
And smoking also depletes a lot of nutrients, including vitamin C, which helps protect and repair our skin naturally, not to mention things like thinning of the hair and yellow and brittle nails. And most studies agree that smoking actually accelerates aging. So this is really doing nothing for the health of your skin and body.
So if you think about it, if we buy all these skincare products to fix a problem from the outside, it won't work because it's not an issue that can be fixed topically. It's the habits and what's inside that needs to be changed.
When it comes to ingredients, here's the thing. There are many ingredients that can cause irritation, right? Because each person's skin is as unique as every single person, so it's not like one size fits all. And the most common ones you'll probably hear or read about are like silicones, dimethicones, sulfates, parabens, all of these things, right? And we're not gonna talk about those specifically in depth here because it's not as simple as saying it's bad. We actually have to know a little bit more about why they're actually used in certain products in the first place.
And we don't want to keep just saying what's out there without really asking the right people who actually formulated the products and hear what they say. So we'll save all of that for a separate video.
But there are some simpler ingredients that we can all agree on that we should try avoid using too often. And these are specific alcohols, fragrances, and comedogenic ingredients if you're sensitive and oily.
So for alcohols, commonly found in toners and astringents and used as a preservative, alcohol excessively dries out skin by stripping stripping it of its natural moisture, which greatly increases the chances of your skin becoming irritated. Well-hydrated skin is elastic and is much more resistant to cracking or getting that tight feeling you get after using a strong cleanser.
And here's the important thing to understand: not all alcohols are as bad as each other.
There are such things as good alcohols. These are mostly found in moisturizing products. These include cetyl alcohol, stearoyl alcohol, and cetearyl alcohol. These are of a fatty type, and it's unlikely they'll cause any skin irritation.
And the bad kind is things like ethanol, SD alcohol 40, SD alcohol 30, and other variations of the word that contain an alcohol and a number. And as another general rule, if the ingredient ends in an OL, it is a form of alcohol, but it just, once again, depends on what type it is. Just if you have irritation, avoid it. If you don't, keep using it, yay!
So for fragrance, when it comes to fragrance, the Environmental Working Group, EWG, rates products containing high amounts of fragrance high hazards and gives it an 8 out of 10 rating because it can easily cause irritation and organ system toxicity as its primary concerns.
And fragrances in products are still very common actually, and some might be a little while others are heavily fragranced. And this is where those sensitive skin people can easily react negatively because, once again, it doesn't affect everyone the same. And oftentimes the individual ingredients forming the fragrance aren't even labeled, so you kind of don't know.
You'll find the words fragrance or perfume, but you won't exactly know what goes into the fragrance or the perfume. Fragrance is usually added to enhance the smell of a product or even cover up certain ingredients.
Which is why sometimes you'll see products labeled as unscented, which doesn't actually mean that there's no fragrance added. It means that they use chemicals called masking agents to help eliminate the true odor within the product.
So instead of unscented, look for words like fragrance-free, which means it's most likely the natural scent from the ingredients in there and nothing else.
And then there's comedogenic ingredients. So once again, this is case by case, depends on each person. Like maybe you can use coconut oil and it works fine, but it clogs my pores and makes me break out. But also mineral oils are another kind of generally avoided ones because it comes from petroleum and it forms a sort of film over the skin, which is very heavy for anything to break out of but also seep into. But in general, just like the thicker the ingredient, the better it is maybe for dry skin. So if you're oily, don't use it because that's comedogenic for an oily person. And things like shea butter, yeah, coconut oil. But once again, just test it on your skin.
See what works for you. See what your body likes and what it doesn't like.
Even if it says non-comedogenic, you still have to try it because it could theoretically still clog your pores. So that was our video on all the lifestyle and skincare habits on what not to do and make sure you're avoiding so that you are preserving and keeping your skin as youthful as possible, because once again, it is possible to preserve your skin for a really long time. So make sure you head over to Wishtrend, the girls at Wishtrend, who will be showing you guys all the things to do the right ways.
Because they always have the best K-beauty inspired and insider tips on what to do in your skincare routine.
If you think about it, Koreans got the skincare down. So make sure you head over to their video to watch and understand the whole kind of realm of picture of youthful skin. And thank you so much for you guys who comment all the time. We're always on our Instagram as well, Beauty Within, even our own ones. Comment below if you have any questions and we'll see you in the next one.